Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I want to do something a little special. I have my oldest here, Gabriel, and what I wanted to do was show how we actually walk through and accomplish a math lesson from the Saxon Homeschool 8-7 book. So it is definitely set up more like a textbook. We keep just a little tab on it. So we're actually still near the very beginning because we don't start school until September. But our lesson today is going to be on lines and angles. So we do have this section here that's a warm-up. And basically what the warm-up is just some mental math where he's not going to use a pen and a paper or a pencil and a paper. He's actually just going to do those things in his mind. And so we go through some of those and then we go and we actually introduce the new concept. And I just walk him through this. We read the explanations and then there are several examples that we walk through. A lot of times I'm going to cover up the answer and he's just going to generate the answer for me as we're going through it. And then once we get through the lesson, which is a few pages, we'll actually get to lesson practice. And the lesson practice is specifically asking questions that pertain to the material that I just taught, the new concepts that we just went over. Once we finish the lesson practice, a lot of times I am going to go over those with him because I don't want to turn him loose until I know that he understands that new concept. But once we've gone over that, I've checked his work, then I send him off to do his mixed practice. And the mixed practice covers questions from all previous lessons. So it's going to be a mixture of lots of different things. And I know I've stated it before, but we don't do all of the problems. There's usually about 30. And if we're on an odd lesson, we do the odd numbers. If we're on an even lesson, we do the even lessons or the even numbers. So once he has that, once we've gone through all of that, I'll send him off and I have his notebook already set up. So he does all of his work because it is more like a textbook. He shows all of his work in a notebook. Sorry.
Mommy, can I save the rest of it?
For later, yes, you can. Sorry, we're also dealing with breakfast time for our youngest. She slept in. So we have a notebook here where he's going to put all of his work, show all of his work, and then I will check it from there. Along with the lesson, he has just a math fact practice test. So a lot of these vary. This one happens to be over equations. And you can see that the one that he'll have on the next time will actually be multiplication. So it varies day to day the math facts that he'll cover, but he will be doing the equations today. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, let's go. The first thing we have here, let's do our mental math.
5.
Nah, look at it again.
Oh. -5.
Good.
$25. 65 cents.
Good.
365.
Good.
265.
Good.
48.
Good. Work it out with me. Start with the number of years in a decade. What is that?
10.
Times 7.
70.
Plus 5.
75.
Divided by 3.
25.
Minus 1.
24.
Divided by 4.
6.
There you go. Now we're going to go over the new concept. So we just did our mental math piece, just real quick and easy. And now we're going to go over the new concept. So we're going to go over this new concept. We are dealing with lines and angles. So we just go over and we read this section. A lot of times I'll read it. Sometimes I'll have him read a few points. But we found that at this point, it is a little bit easier for him to listen if I read with the new concept. So we live in a world of 3 dimensions. A line contains an infinite number of points extending in opposite directions without end. Here we show line AB. So I have point A and B, so we call it line AB, and it can actually be called BA. Now, array is different. See how a line is going in both directions. Array is different in that part of the line has one endpoint. So we identify array by naming the endpoint and then the other point of the ray. And here we show that it's ray AB. A segment is a part of a line with two endpoints. We identify a segment by naming the two endpoints in either order. Here we show segment AB. Now neither one of them have the arrow on either side. So that's how we're going to show them. That's a segment, that's a ray, and that's a line. So let's go ahead and I will cover this up as best as I can. Use symbols to name a line, two rays, and a segment in the figure to the right. So name a line.
AB.
Okay, and then how would it look like? What would the notation be for writing it? Right, yes, so a line, yep, with the arrows on both sides. What about rays? There should be two options for rays because it does matter here because the arrow is only going in one direction. No, but how would we write it? Yes, that's a segment, but how would we write it? Right, just a line. There you go. All right. In the figure below, AB is 3 centimeters and AC is 7 centimeters. So find BC.
4 centimeters.
Very good. 4 centimeters. If we know that this is 3 and this is 7, then the rest is 4. There you go. Now, a plane is a flat surface that extends without end. It has 2 dimensions, length and width. A desktop occupies a part of a plane. So think of our table here. So 2 lines in the same. So here are 2 lines that are intersecting. What point are they intersecting at?
M.
Good. And these we would call what? What, these 2 lines?
Parallel?
Parallel. So, yep. So QR is parallel to line ST. And so we can actually show with this statement, do you see this? Line QR is parallel with line ST. They have the 2 lines in the middle. What is it's a right angle. And how many degrees would it have? It's a 90-degree angle. Yeah. So in this figure, line MN is perpendicular to line PQ, and that's the statement written here, that line MN, do you see how they made this notation? It looks like an upside down T.
Yeah.
That's perpendicular to PQ. So it would be angle DMB or angle BMD. Good. An angle formed by perpendicular rays is a
right angle.
Good. And is commonly marked with a small square at the vertex. An angle smaller than a right angle is. So let's look at these ones. Which line is parallel to line AB?
CD.
Yep. And which line is perpendicular to AB?
I just said CD.
Which line is perpendicular?
BD.
All right, now there are several angles in this figure. Name the straight angle. Which one's the straight angle?
AMD.
Good. Yep. Name the obtuse angle.
AMC.
Good. Name 2 right angles.
AMB and BMD.
Good. Name 2 acute angles.
BMC and MD.
No, can't start with the M. That's the vertex. So what was the second one? You got BMC.
CMD.
Yeah, CMD. Good. So a power pole with 2 crisscross pieces can be represented by 3 segments. So like what kind of looks like a telephone pole. So what would be a vertical segment?
AB.
Good. And a horizontal segment? Just Just hold on, Eden. A horizontal segment.
Like CD or EF.
Good. And name a segment perpendicular to CD.
AB.
Good. And remember, they could have gone either way, but yes, that's correct. So now that we've just gone over our lesson, we're actually going to go over the lesson practice. And sometimes, depending on the activity or what it asks, we'll either do it orally and I'll just spot check him immediately, or if he does need to do a little bit of writing, I'll go ahead and have him put it in his notebook. So we're going to go ahead and start his lesson practice now. So name a point on this figure that is not on ray BC.
What?
Name a point on this figure that is not on ray BC. So where's ray? Yeah, just point A. So, and this figure XZ is 10 centimeters and YZ is 6 centimeters. So find the length of XY. Okay. Draw two parallel lines. Go. D is draw two perpendicular lines. Do parallel lines ever intersect?
These ones would.
Yeah, those ones would, but do true parallel lines ever intersect? You guys will have to excuse the noise. This is just a reality of what it's like to do a lesson with one of your kids while you have 3 other ones trying to go about their business and not interrupt our lesson. Good. Yep. E. Draw 2 lines that intersect but are not perpendicular. What word describes the relationship of these lines? Yep. All right, draw a right angle. Okay, now go back down here for G. Draw an acute angle. Draw an obtuse angle for F. All right, good. All right, I. 2 intersecting segments are drawn on the board. One segment is vertical and the other is horizontal. Are the segments parallel or perpendicular?
Perpendicular.
Good. So I.
Go right there.
Yep, just write perpendicular. Good. All right, so that's all of the lesson practice. So now you have your odds left. Okay, so we just now finished going over the lesson practice. As you listened or saw, you could probably see that all of those questions directly related to the lesson that we just went over. So now what I do is he has his notebook, he has his book, and he has his math fact worksheet, and I'm just gonna send him on his way. A lot of times he likes to do his math up in his room, and he will work on that independently. And if he has any questions, he knows that he is more than welcome to come and find me and ask me those questions. But otherwise, he does work independently, finishing the rest of his problems and the worksheet that he has to do. And once he's done, then we'll move on to the next thing. But in the meantime, once I'm finished with him, I move on to one of his brothers and we go over his math lesson. So, was it too bad?
No.
No? Was it kind of review-ish?
I don't know.
Was it review or was it new stuff?
No, it's review.
Kind of review. So he's gonna go and work on that, and then once he finishes that, a lot of times after I've finished our schoolwork for the day, I will go through his work and I will grade it, make any notes or circle anything that he needs to fix. And a lot of times we will work on correcting that either that afternoon or right before we start our lesson tomorrow. So when we look at it, we'll first rewind back to our lesson today and the work that he did. If I have anything circled, we're gonna go and we're gonna correct those things, and he's gonna make the necessary corrections and redo any problems that he needs to do in order to make sure that he understands the concept. Then we'll head on into the next lesson. So that's the process that we do. All in all, it probably takes us about 20 to 25 minutes to go through everything as far as what I'm concerned, but he does need to go and finish the rest of his work. So if you guys have any questions on how we tackle our Saxon Math from this line from Saxon 8-7, go ahead and leave me a question. I'll be happy to answer it for you. And until next time, have a blessed day.